Hello and welcome to the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. I'm Claire Downham, the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach. I was a burnt out head teacher who finally made the journey to calm after years of trying, and I want to prevent you from having to do the same. The Calmcast is a series of short explorations, gently guiding you back to your natural state, which is calm and clarity. Just listen like you would listen to music, with an open mind and curiosity. There's nothing else to do. Now let's relax into today's episode. I'm going to talk about relationships. I really wanted to see something different about relationships, and so last night I asked a question of Michael Neill on the Inner Circle call, which, if those of you that don't know, is a group coaching call that happens once a month for members of the Inner Circle, of which I am one. And there's been something I've not been seeing in one of my relationships, and do you know what? I'm just going to tell you, it's my other half, Bruce. And I've been seeing over time how so many of my relationships have changed, and my relationship with Bruce has changed quite dramatically. There's more ease, there is more calm in our relationship. But then I had got myself into this rut of seeing, quite comically, something that I often talk about in these lives, in that, I often talk about when we perceive another person, we see what we believe about that person. So my joke thing is that if I didn't think Bruce was very good at emptying the bins, then I would definitely see the bins when they were full and not when they were empty. That wasn't quite what I was not seeing, that I was seeing about Bruce. So that's the first thing in a relationship, is that we think we're seeing everything, don't we? We think we're seeing everything about that person. And once we've got focused in on a bit of that person's behaviour that we don't like, we see more of it. So my thing with Bruce was procrastination. I think he procrastinates a lot. Now I've said it out loud, it will bring more ease to it, I believe. Anyway, so yesterday he was in Trevor, our motorhome. Those of you that don't know, Trevor is the motorhome named by my daughter. Thanks, Sophie. And he had gone in there to do those certain jobs that we'd agreed needed doing in the motorhome. And I came in to find bits of the motorhome that had nothing to do with what he was supposed to be doing, all over the place. What are you doing, darling? And he decided to move some of the bit because it didn't look tidy. But of course, normally this part he was moving was hidden under wood and stuff, so you'd never see it wasn't tidy. But anyway, so I've noticed over time that I see what I believe about Bruce. So that's the first thing to know about our relationships with other people. We see what we believe about them. And just knowing that you're doing that is really, really helpful, because it means you can start to just shine a light on it, just bring some awareness to it. Just know that when you're seeing them doing that thing over and over again and not doing the opposite thing, the thing you want them to do, that you probably, you are, no two ways about it, you are filtering through your belief about that person. So that's the first thing. But the thing that Michael Neill helped me to see last night was a bit more significant. And that was that no matter how well Bruce knows me, no matter how much I know he loves me, he's not responsible for how I feel. His doing of behaviour X so that I can feel Y isn't really how it works. And I guess that's what comes from this understanding over time, is seeing more and more places where it works, because the thing is, it works all the time, everywhere. A person, a relationship, the person you're in a relationship with is a circumstance. They're a circumstance, just like every other circumstance. And if you know that your feelings don't come from the weather, then also it is possible to know that your feelings don't come from other people, because it works with everything. And you know, I see this in so many aspects of my life, but you know, for me, that particular relationship has been more difficult to see it in. And I don't know whether I've kind of cracked it now or not, or whether there's even anything to crack. But if I bring some awareness to this, I think it will be helpful. And I think it's also helpful for you to know that I don't see this all the time in everything. And that's why I need coaching too. And I need to have those conversations too. And that's why we don't all need a coach, but having those kind of conversations can be so helpful. I really saw something last night that I hadn't seen before. Michael is quite magical there. Well, this conversation's magical, I think that's the thing. So how is this helpful to you? Always with this conversation, it's helpful because of the knowing, not because of the doing. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm going to remind you that this is how it's working all the time, every day. No matter what is going on in your life, it's working inside out, not outside in. Your perspective is creating everything. How you're feeling right now is not because of circumstance X or relationship X or person's behaviour X. It's because of your thinking about it. And when I say your thinking, I don't even mean necessarily your thinking, but thought in the moment, thought that is passing through you is creating your experience of that person in your life. And I guess as well, you know, to lace through that the psychological innocence of every single person. When Bruce veers off from the task that I thought he was going to do, it's not a deliberate intent to upset me, because he should know by now what I like and what I don't like. Yeah, that's the conversation actually. Come on, darling, you've known me for 6 years now. Surely you know that this is not what I like. Don't you know you're creating my experience? And I can laugh about it now because I've seen something, and that's kind of what comes to me when I see something different, is I tend to laugh about it because I go, oh, it's one of those moments. Michael Neill calls it a Homer Simpson moment, when we suddenly see something that we haven't seen before. So, as always, this is an invitation to bring some awareness to this in your relationships. You know, what can you see in your relationships where you are creating an expectation that another person is supposed to be managing your feeling state, that another person is responsible somehow for how you feel. And you know, the amazing benefits of this are that not only in our loving relationships, where, you know, we tend to, you know, care about the other person and want not for them to be upset, so we tend not to say things that are, you know, unkind or unpleasant, but also in the relationships in your life that you find difficult. So, you know, your relationship with your boss or your colleagues or whoever else, or your mother-in-law. I'm sure lots of people have got mother-in-laws that have a fabulous relationship, but obviously there are lots of people who don't. And, you know, whatever relationship it is, it's knowing that you don't have to hand that over. You don't have to hand that over to another person. Knowing that how you're feeling in the moment is what's passing through you. It's nothing to do with what's passing through them. It can be really, really helpful in not giving away your feelings or the control of your feelings to somebody else. So I'm really grateful last night that I really saw, I really had a bit of not a massive light bulb moment, definitely more of a, oh dear, you've seen this, I'd seen it in so many other places, in physical circumstances, in other people, my relationships, not as close relationships with other people, all of that, and hadn't seen it with Bruce, which is just comedy in itself. So, just bring some awareness to this, guys. I'm not going to tell you what to do. This is about noticing how this plays out in your life. And it can be so helpful. It is so helpful when you start to see it. So, thank you so much for being here. As I say, go off, live your life, and just be aware of how this is working 100% of the time. This is a principle. It works all the time. No matter what you think about it, it's a bit like gravity. You can't really opt out of it, but you can know it's happening, and that's really helpful. Thank you so much for listening. There's nothing to do now but bring some awareness to how this is working out in your life. Listen regularly to experience longer and longer periods of calm. This has been the Calmcast with Claire Downham, Queen of Calm. Take care and keep listening.